Hello, everybody, and welcome to Podcast The Motion Picture. It's me, Reed, and Jack and Cole. Welcome to yet another week of Podcast The Motion Picture. Today, we're going to be talking about the movie Shaun of the Dead. All right, maybe if we're feeling crazy, can tack an extra 5 seconds, something else on. But really, the main heebie-jeebie of this shenaniganery is going to be Shaun of the Dead. Fellas, do you think that Simon Pegg has a career ahead of him following Shaun of the Dead? Hmm? Do
Well,
you
the year is
think?
2006, so I don't know.
That really how old this movie is?
It's from 2005.
You,
Yeah.
no, it's not. I refuse to
It,
believe that.
it could even be from 2004. Let me check Letterboxd.
In
Is
the
it 20 years
movie,
old?
it's I don't want to say it's ancient, but it's certainly it ain't no spring chicken, this movie. He has a line in it about one of the kids are like calls him grandpa and he's like, I'm 29. And yeah,
I've still got plenty of life ahead of me.
kind of I
When
know 29 is very young. Um so yes, okay, so this movie, I don't, a parody of zombie movies. I guess if you even want to call it a parody of zombie movies, it's really just a zombie movie that's funny. It's not like
Hmm.
it directly parodies anything. I really I gotta share, I did not like this movie the first time I ever watched it. This was the second time I watched it. I didn't like it. I think because the first of the big three movies, what's the trilogy called? The Cornetto?
The
yeah, the
Three
Cornetto
Flavors
trilogy.
Cornetto
Cornetto.
trilogy. Right.
Yep, the
So
three flavors Cornetto.
first one I ever watched was Hot Fuzz, and I dug that. So when I watched this one, I just was like, I don't really like this story. So I don't like where these two actors, these characters are. I just watched it the other night again for the second time ever. Wow, the timing of every cut and line, um, severe creativity is how I would put it. Just a vision, something I always like to think, I always ponder when it comes to movies. I'm a ponderous fella. Um, I always like to think about how hard it must be when people have these gigantic movies with big ideas and, out there ideas, kind of like this one. Um, Communicating all of that so clearly that everybody gets through it and you get a final product that is concise and does what you probably wanted. I'm thinking that's probably what Edgar Wright wanted in the end, that movie. Um, yeah. You guys have a favorite aspect to this film? Hmm?
Jack, do you want to go first?
Yeah, well, Reed, see, me and Cole live in a different realm than you do, as this was a movie that we grew. This was like our go-to movie growing up when we wanted to watch a zombie movie. We
It was
watched we
defining.
watched the hell out of this movie to the point where watching this movie, I know the first like 15 minutes almost verbatim up until the apocalypse starts. Like I every line, timing, I know what's coming. But I gotta say right now, there is not a better opening to a zombie movie on the planet. I will stand by this. I will stand by that. The comedic tone of the fact that he knows nothing is going on until an actual zombie attacks him in his shed, that his day is the exact same and Nick Frost is just playing PS2. Also the best. But it is so good. It is so awesome. And may I also say, you know how movies always talk about, you know what people always talk about? I know it's your favorite movie of all time, Reed. Aaron Sorkin's script for The Social Network and the bar scene at the beginning. I think the bar scene at the very beginning of this movie is better than the bar scene at the beginning of The
Hmm.
Social Network
It's good.
because it's the exact same thing except Edgar Wright style, where you get introduced to your characters pretty quickly of who they are.
Yeah. I really some shots in that beginning thing is you have like talking over the table is Simon Pegg and his girlfriend, and then right in the middle of that is what's his name? Nick Frost, is that the actor's
Like,
name?
yeah,
Ed.
Sitting back there playing the pinball machine just in the background, loud, talking over the main lines. Like that is one of the best ways you can introduce like not only characters but just the dynamic of how these three people work. Like
Hmm.
this guy's just as over the top of them.
You learn so much about the characters and the tone of the movie and like that opening scene. So
Hmm.
like Jack, you're like it's literally the Social Network but better.
It is. It's the
Way
And
Social
better.
Network.
what
They're the
what was
same.
even funny too is like Ed is there, and then also David and Diane are sitting right next to
Yeah.
him too. It's super funny. Just widen the shot a little bit, and they're sitting there too. So you got the entire cast just like in the opening.
Hmm.
You can learn everything about them and their dynamics, like right there.
I really wish that I had watched this movie and then 2 seconds later we were sitting down to record this because I know that just like that, there's every single part of this movie, every shot that you see these people is the same thing where like you are learning more about them just for even from when they're sitting on the couch compared to when they're talking to I forget his name, but oh God, what's his name? The guy who does the voice of Darth Maul and Phantom Menace, the third flatmate.
What is his name? It's
Yeah.
Something
not.
Park,
It's yeah.
Is it Ray Park?
I
Ray
think it's
Park.
Ray Park. I
Yeah.
think it might be.
I
Anyway,
had no idea he was he's the voice.
yes, yeah, that's Guardians
Okay.
of the Galaxy's Parks and Rec, that guy who does the voice. Yeah,
He has like one line in all the Phantom Menace.
it's a big
Uh,
line.
I love. I
At
also
last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have our revenge. Boom, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's the
boom.
guy from
That's it.
Shaun of the
That's
Dead.
him.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I had no idea.
Don't forget about
Us,
Bill Nye. Is it
Bill
Bill
Nye.
Nye.
Bill
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nye?
Of
Don't forget about Bill Nye.
I
you know,
am I cannot look at Bill Nye in any movie and not just see his face as Davy Jones. I'm sure everybody feels the same way. Like you could put him in any role, and I think maybe this is the three movies I've seen him in are Pirates of the Caribbean. Well, I guess second and fourth, two and three, and then Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead. And he's just always such a like, I don't know. He's a powerful guy, I guess maybe that's because he's Davy Jones to me first and foremost. But
You not seen Love Actually?
no,
yeah, I was
His
about to say.
defining role
His
actually
as a
not.
pop
defining
star,
aging pop star. What's his
aging
name?
pop star.
What's his name in the movie? I forget. Just
God,
like the he
it's
does
the
like the
weirdest name ever. He
Gravy
does the
Bones.
he literally the whole joke of his arc in Love Actually. In a tangent here, people will get back to Shaun of the Dead. They're both British movies. They're lined.
Hmm.
There's
exactly.
connection here.
What are the Brits if not zombies?
Hmm.
Exactly. But his character in Love Actually, his whole arc is he's an aging pop star who sings a Christmas song, but they change Christmas to love, and that or love is it love to Christmas?
They
Because
changed love to Christmas.
Christmas, and it's the exact same song as another song. They just change one word, and it
Hmm.
like kills the record like for Christmas.
He
It's
wants it to be
funny.
Like
the number one record over
yeah,
Christmas. It's like
that's the whole joke.
Awesome. Okay, well, I will have to check out Bill Nye in this then. Actually, I've heard a lot
also
about
no,
Love Actually, but not
another
never that.
connection. Martin Freeman's in Love Actually, and he's also
Yes, he
in
is.
Shaun of the Dead.
His role in Shaun of the Dead is crazy compared to like the escalating amount of lines that he gets from like one line of like hello to then he's the inspector in the precinct in
In
Hot
Hot
Fuzz,
Fuzz.
and then I forget his name. Is he just Martin actually? He might be Martin in the third movie,
In the
World's End.
World's End, yeah, he's just Martin.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Yeah, no, to see so many different people hop in this thing. Um, It's pretty neat. The mom of Sean, do you know who that actress is? Is she somebody?
She's
No,
in
She,
but you
Doctor
see her.
Who.
Yeah, she's in a lot of British
yeah, she
work.
seems so familiar. I'm gonna have to take a peek and figure her out later, but that's probably some homework I should have done before this. All righty, back to Shaun of the Dead in a big hot type of way. So, Shaun of the Dead, there's dead people, there's Shaun. Do you guys have a character that you feel most at home with out of all the different characters in this movie? Does anybody make you feel alive? Do you see yourself in anybody?
I think you're
No?
supposed to connect to Sean the
Yeah.
most.
Hmm.
I love Ed though. Ed is he's the problem in his life, but he's too likable. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
He's just too funny and just like too goofy. And yeah, like you like him, but you think obviously he's just also holding him back. He's literally, and like the movie emphasizes that a lot. So he's great. I think though he's so funny.
Yeah. Um, I will say, I definitely was more frustrated this time with Ed than I have been in the past because it's like, yeah, a lot of steps of the like he's very helpful at the beginning of the zombie thing, but as time goes on, he kind of becomes a little bit of a problem in the whole show of things. Yeah, I'll say he's definitely less Nick Frost in this movie as Ed is definitely less likable than the other two movies, I think, you know. Say he's still likable, but a
He's
lot less likable.
he's so like I love him in Hot Fuzz. I can picture
He's
him
so
wearing
good
that
in Hot
stupid.
Fun.
I can picture him wearing that stupid cowboy hat and like running in the
Doing the
rain. It's like
runaway. Yeah.
it's so
And
funny.
he's like yelling, he yells a line at Simon Pegg before he runs it. You don't, oh yeah, one thing, you don't know how to turn it off. And then he runs away
He
with the
just
little hat.
waddles away. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean, he's so good in The World's End. Oh my
oh
God.
yeah, I know we won't touch on the. I don't know if we're going to touch on the World's End in
We'll
this
get around
podcast,
to it. We will
but
one of these
but
weeks.
the whole flip side in that movie where he's the guy who's put together in
Hmm.
the World's End, but watch when the scene when he punches his hand through the glass is
It's so funny.
honestly the best like body comedy. It's so funny. Just
He's
it's
just
so
so
good.
wasted. He just
It's so
punches it.
but
It's so funny.
no, I gotta say no.
What?
I like Ed. I can't like I know he's
Mhm.
frustrating. I like Ed. He's it
Yeah.
just
He's a
works.
he's a glue though. Like I can't imagine the movie without him either. I don't know.
Hmm.
He's like a perfect character. Like you can't. I don't think this movie would probably work as well without even having him because part of the movie is just supposed to be funny and he's such great comic relief. But also, he's a really driving force in the story too.
Hmm.
So just a really well written character. It just happens to be Nick Frost has a it's just such a good performance for playing such like a loser. He's so funny.
I caught about 30 seconds of the show into the Badlands once, and Nick Frost is in it. And I never wanted to watch that show. I don't know anything about it, but Nick Frost was in that 30 seconds I saw. And even then, I was like, man, I should watch the show just so I can see Nick Frost and something. Like, I love him to death. Something I'll say about this movie is the showing of wherever the heck they are. Are they in London in this? Or are they
Hmm.
just okay,
Yeah.
they are? Yeah. Just
I think so. I'd have to look it up.
They're in
just
London.
I
just
think they're in
getting to
London.
see 2005 London, people on their flip phones, taking the bus, walking around, the clothes, the vibes, going to a pub. It's like, I don't know, even in the TV selling store, like up here level of nostalgia, up all the way up at the border of my screen level nostalgia. Um, I die for movies that kind of put you into another place, and it is a horrible, shameful, hurtful thing that I have to say I'm nostalgic for this movie because it's 20 years old and like it was, oh man, that kills me.
2004.
2004, yeah, just to
It
yeah. Ugh.
it's well, going back to like what Jack and I talked about, this was like a big movie for us when we were growing up. Like the 2000s, you couldn't look every single piece of media like had zombies in it. Like if you could get zombies or something, it felt like that was such a big trend, like zombie video games, zombie movies, zombie books, zombie, Walking Dead, all that stuff. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
like that was something that Jack, like we all played Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's an awesome game. But I think just for Jack and I, it was such a fun movie. It was like, what are we gonna watch? What zombie movie are we gonna watch this week? It's like, well, you could just pop on Shaun of the Dead. So like
Yeah.
when you say like nostalgia wise, this feels like a movie that you would have on DVD and that you'd pop out of your shelf or whatever. Like, hey, I got one to watch right now. Just
Hmm.
you pop it into your VCR or your DVD player for your box TV and watch it.
We always watched it on the PS2, and then we'd have to enter in
With password,
the
yeah.
password. Yeah,
I
yeah.
know the
Mm-hmm.
screen all
You
too
know the
well.
exact screen. I know.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was like,
Did
damn.
I know we all grew up playing Left 4 Dead and whatnot, and Dead Island a bit. You know, were there any zombie games you guys have for PlayStation 2? Did that ever come up for you guys? I don't know if I had any on my
I don't.
PlayStation.
It was all the 360. I know there's like zombie game. I think there's a zombie game for the PS2. I'd hope so.
I would bet. I guess maybe you could count like Resident Evil games, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I suppose it'd probably be the Resident Evils.
Yeah,
We
maybe
But
were too
we
those.
little though.
we the only
Yeah,
Resident
yeah.
up until recently, the only Resident Evils I remember is the Cole Bauman had the Nintendo Wii version of Resident Evil 4. I think it
Yeah,
was
Oh yeah,
4. And it was
and you
like the
use like the
super
nunchucks.
you used the nunchucks and it was really horrible to play. But
that sounds horrible to play. I don't think I don't much think I like that. Um, no, I don't know. I'm really trying to like wrap my brain around it. But yeah, I don't think I really played much of zombie games until about Left 4 Dead, and even then,
COD Zombies,
I
like
guess COD
yeah.
Zombies. And you know what? I
But
guess isn't World War or World at War, wasn't that on the PS2 as well?
was it? I thought that was Xbox. We had it on the 360, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I know it was on the 360. It was on the Wii. Maybe I'm thinking it's on the Wii. PlayStation 2, COD, World at War. Top
I always
research going on
Now
here.
this dates us. This is gonna date us. This is dates us real hard right now. I remember playing House of the Dead at Hollywood Pizza. That's where I remember playing zombie games growing up.
That was
I don't
Hmm.
know.
fun. The light gun game.
Yeah, the light gun games.
That was a
Yeah.
sweet game.
Um, Also, by the way, yeah, sorry, Call of Duty World at War was for the PlayStation 2. So there you go. There was one. Not that we ever played that version of it because probably looks terrible.
Right, probably
Um,
it's awful. Speaking of like when you talk about like England and like how like the costumes and like the flip phones and all that, I watch this movie and I still think like that's my perception of what it's supposed to look like over there. Like I don't think it looks anything different than like 2006. I'm serious.
Well,
Like
matter
all I
of
know
fact,
about England,
Cole, it's not. What are you talking about? 2006. It's still that. They still have flip phones over there. What are you talking about?
oh, I
it
wish.
looks England looks like it should. It's stuck in like the mid 2000s. Like that's my perception.
Yeah, something super cool. I went over just last year in the springtime. I visited a friend who's also named Jack. I went and visited this guy who was over in England way, and it is always super cool to me. I've been to the UK, I've been to France, I've been to a bunch of countries on the northern part of the Mediterranean Sea. How much old stone and rock work is what everybody drives and walks and lives around? It's just like it's amazing. I wish, obviously here in America we don't live like that. We're building big roads out in the middle of fields just because we can. That's America for you. But I wish we had giant cities built on old cobblestone. Wouldn't that be neat? Wouldn't that be darn tootin' cool?
And walkable, and then you're
Walkable
done.
cities, read, but you're sounding like a communist right now.
I know, and I'm not a communist. I
Ugh.
want the record to be clear. At the start of this Red Scare, I'm not a communist. I'm a cobblist, and that I really do think we need more cobblestone around here.
I
Um,
will say I had a dual sense of this like nostalgia watching this movie. Not because one, it's Shaun of the Dead, so watching this Shaun of the Dead, but the corner shop that he gets the cornettos and stuff from
mhm.
literally looks like the corner shop I would go to in Oxford all the time for my shit if I needed a snack. Like literally, that's what they all look like. Like that's what they are. And
Yeah.
there's some guy who just is like, "Is this all?" You're like, "Yeah, just yeah." Give me
Please
Um,
tell me
that.
you. Please tell me you had a Cornetto when you were over
It was
there.
like the third thing I did. Like I
Oh
made
my god.
sure I
what
made
makes
sure
you
that
want to study abroad? Well, I've heard you've got cornettos over there, and I just thought I might give it a taste. I'm a lifelong fan of Shaun of the Dead.
I just wanted the Cornetto, dude.
Yeah. Um, so this movie, Shaun of the Dead, actually is named for another movie, Dawn of the Dead. Not Burt Wonderstone, but Dawn of the Dead, actually. A classic movie. There's one made, another Dawn of the Dead. What's his name? Your
Zack
Schneider cut.
Snyder.
Yeah,
Jack
that's the
Schneider.
fella. Um, the day after I watched this earlier this week, we watched it, I think, Monday. The day after that, Tuesday, for those of you keeping score at home, my brother Michael actually texted me about the movie Dawn of the Dead. And it was like, no way, man. Like we're almost the same, but a couple details
Wait,
off.
which one?
The Zack
George
Snyder Dawn
Romero's?
of the Dead.
Is that?
I think that one's, oh gosh, I want to say that one's like 2005,
I was
actually.
gonna say,
That's
how
got to be
old is
from the
that
mid
one? Because that
2000s too.
that one's up there too.
Hmm.
2004 is Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
Wow, that's some good release dates then.
That is really great release dates that Dawn of the Dead and Shaun of the Dead came
Shaun
out the
and
same year.
Dawn. Speaking of which, though, I mean, we said this is a great zombie opening. That Dawn of the Dead, like, I've never seen the Zack Snyder one, but I know just from hearing about it, everyone talks about that opening is super good.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something, man. It is super good. It is. That's actually what Michael had texted me about. I think specifically was that it is to him is one of the best things that a zombie movie's ever opened to. That and 28 Weeks Later is another one everyone talks about. The Zack
20,
Snyder one, I guess I'd what, Brandon?
28 weeks or 28 days? I've never
28
seen 28
weeks.
weeks.
People I know always talk about 28 Weeks Later, the opening being like the best zombie startup and the scariest zombie startup. I've never seen it either. I have only heard legends. I gotta say, I'm gonna have to watch it before 28 years later, and I'm a little bit upset because this kind of like legendary thing I have not seen a second of. It's like one of the last remaining things, when you're a kid and your cousin would tell you this story about like this or that, and you wouldn't have any way to back check or check it up. There'd be no
Hmm.
supporting information other than you just have their word and this thought. Then you go to your friends, you're like, yeah, you'd never believe this whole thing happening, and you get half the details wrong. That's what this is to me, and it's one of the last pieces I have in my life of this legendary urban legend story of what is 28 Weeks Later's opening. So I will see it soon enough. Anyway, but Dawn of the Dead, if I may, is pretty darn tootin' cool. I don't know how many details are the same as George Romero's original Dawn of the Dead. I really have no idea. I've never seen that one. Cole, have you seen both?
I've seen the original Dawn of the Dead.
Ah,
You can watch it in its entirety on YouTube.
mhm.
That's it. The movie just exists and like open. It's like completely open to the public.
It's
Like
free.
someone just upload the whole thing. It's just free. So if you want to watch it on YouTube, just pop it on. It's gonna be really crappy, but you can literally watch. That's like one of the only ways because like that movie has a weird like copyright and like ownership things, I think. So like it's been tossed around and everything, and like I think you can only get it like on DVD, and it's from like a release from like 20 years ago.
Mhm.
But
Hmm.
like you can watch the entire thing for free on YouTube.
I just might have to check that out. That's nice to know, actually. You can watch it for free, but then you also probably have to watch like ads every 2 minutes because YouTube's a
Right,
slow gun.
exactly. Have you guys ever played Dead Rising?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, love Dead
Like
Rising.
that's where it is. I mean, it takes
Ah,
place in the mall. So
good
yeah,
deal.
but
What?
It's
you don't
also
fight people. You don't fight like old ladies and clowns and stuff. There's no old ladies and clowns in
Old
Dawn
ladies
of
and
the Dead.
clowns did not exist in George Romero's Dawn of the Dead time.
Mm-mm.
They just weren't invented yet. Old ladies and
Not in
clowns.
1976. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Ving Rhames is actually in the Zack Schneider one, so that's pretty cool.
is
He's
he?
pretty. Yeah.
I'll have to watch
Um,
it then.
Nah, I really would recommend it. It's not one where you'll probably be like, oh my God, Zack Snyder was actually great. All like you'll watch it and you'll probably say to yourself, that's probably the best thing Zack Snyder's ever gonna be able to do. Just it is like, guy nailed it. He made a really good zombie movie, and even the whole of what the people are up to in the movie is just like, yeah, like they're not very great at getting through this, but like it's pretty accurate to people tried their best in difficult times, and it's never as easy as it looks, I suppose. And yeah, but
Well, that's Sean's story in the movie.
and so it is.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're basically, yeah, I think I said it earlier, shot for shot remakes of the two things.
I will say because Shaun of the Dead is a character story set
Hmm.
to the backdrop of a zombie apocalypse. I have to say, it is so funny that the driving motivation for him getting his life back together is in fact the end of the world.
Yeah.
Like that
Hmm.
that is what makes him go turn it around.
Hmm. I really appreciate as well the spoilers for anybody who's watched this of as things go on. Like it's not, it pretty. You'd think that things would fall apart at least for our heroes in this movie at the end of this zombie movie, but there's like we're like just past about the halfway point when things really just start going bad, and that's a strange thing in a comedy movie. Normally things can go wrong in a comedy movie, but seldom do things go terribly, terribly awry for everyone. And yeah, I suppose that's one of those things that makes us stand out.
It's great because rewatching it, like I had forgotten like how dramatic it was. I think when I was younger, I attached myself more to like the funny scenes and everything, but like there's some really great emotional scenes and like some actual like really well earned drama. Like, when they're in the bar and they're like trying to decide if David's got the gun right, he's gonna shoot his mom, and he's like really visibly upset. Like that's terrific acting. It's
Hmm.
not like over the top at all. It's like really genuine and it feels like super earned and not out of place because they did such a good job of balancing that serious tone and taking the thing seriously that it needs to, and then also integrating those like comedy and humorous aspects with his direction and just the characters. So nothing ever feels out of place in the movie. And so I like that it takes the zombie apocalypse is kind of funny the way sometimes they depict it, but I also like how it takes itself seriously too. It's a good job.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of things like that. Even before that scene as well. Another good example way back is Bill Nye. He ends up things go awry for him, if you will. And he gets to have this line to Simon Pegg talking about, how much Simon Pegg actually did really mean to him and that he didn't mean to really be a piece of shit to Simon Pegg. And Simon Pegg also gets to have another moment of, crying and sadness. And this is pretty darn toot and cool of these fellas.
I
Yeah.
I do have to say this that when what's his face is getting dragged off by the zombies and his guts are getting ripped out, it is a bit. I don't know why that effect has always like been a bit silly to me. I don't know why. I don't know
It's
what it is.
it's a bad.
It just is. It's just you know what I mean.
Hmm.
I think the color looks good. I think the stomach is so visibly fake though. They they didn't do a good job at that part, I think, but it doesn't matter. It's still good.
Hmm.
In my opinion. I like when he gets torn up. And then like, oh, his arms and legs they tear his legs off. So of course it's stupid.
Yeah.
Like he just literally falls apart. I love when she opens the door that Diane character, you could still hear her shouting like David, even
Yeah.
like a couple more. Like it feels like you shouldn't hear her anymore. She should be dead. But then you hear like one more David. It's so funny. You just hear like just shouting still. Like it's like perfectly put in.
Hmm.
Speaking of funny lines, I completely forgot about that Nick Frost line when he rolls up to pick them up out of the car.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so funny. It is so
It
only
catches you
him
off
could do it.
guard.
It
I
only
agree.
him could do it. It is so funny.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care. It is so funny the way he does
It's
it. The whole
hilarious.
delivery.
Yeah. That's a guy who just could take risks. Even now, I'm betting he could probably still deliver that line, and people would probably still be like, "Yeah, that one's all right. Let him by.
Hmm. That one's
Let him,
funny.
yeah, let him through the system." They also,
I,
yeah, he's. Oh, sorry.
oh,
Curious.
you go ahead. You keep going. I was
Oh,
going to
I
talk
was
about
gonna
my favorite
say.
lines.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite lines is as things get emotional towards the end between Nick Frost and Simon Pegg. Um, Nick Frost sorry, Simon Pegg kind of tells him how much he means, and I think Simon Pegg just says, "Gay."
Yep.
Yeah,
He says like, I love you, man."
Yeah,
Gay.
yeah.
gay. It's like
It's just ridiculous,
That's hilarious.
That's
But
that's it's peak
they're
2000s comedy, as I'll say.
they are best friends though. Just like with the ending, the Queen song. Like you can't separate them.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, I love. I like the line when he's called his mom's calling him and he's like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" They were a bit bitey or whatever. He's like, "Who got bit?" And she was like, "Oh, not me, but Bill Nye or whatever got bit." And he's like, "What's going on?" "My mom's okay. We meant to kill my stepdad."
Yeah.
Like that's funny.
it's so
Like that's a good line.
Yeah. I really love all the times in the movie that they call him Simon Pegg's dad, and every time he corrects them, "It's not my
it's
dad."
he's not my dad.
Well, that's
Yeah.
great because then it builds and builds and builds to that like car scene. Then it's like, oh my God, he's losing someone that he didn't realize that actually could have been a dad to him. So like it's
Hmm.
so earned.
Yeah. Another chunk, I guess not really a bit of line for me, but when he goes to the apartment to after he fails his girlfriend and he goes there he fails Liz, he's gonna go up to the apartment and he said, "Let me in." And they go, "No." And he goes, "Well, I'm climbing in." And you can hear him messing around trying to get up there, and then suddenly the intercom buzzes again. "Can you please let me in?" You know.
It's it's yeah, and then that pays off later when he actually climbs
He
into the
does it.
window
He
Yeah.
climbs it.
because he's growing and changing. He's more confident. Yeah, he wants to get Liz back.
Hmm.
So like, it's a perfect. It literally is a perfect movie if you want to talk about just like basic like those setups and those payoffs and repetition. It's perfect. It's so like
It
flawlessly
is.
executed.
Yeah, I like I said, I didn't like it the first time I watched it. I was a little frustrated watching it the second time the other night because, like, yeah, I walked away like, God, was I wrong about that? I don't, it's not often I'm wrong, but boy, gee, was I ever wrong on that one. Um,
Even like the lines, even down to like specific lines where they're like the Winchester represents like,
Mhm.
like the end of your life basically. And I think Liz has a line where it's like you go there until you die. And like, well, they go there, they're gonna die.
yeah, I'll
But
say I'll say one of my things I think I kind of had a I don't know. Watching it again, I want to say the same thing for Hot Fuzz. I do think Hot Fuzz is also another example of where it's perfect of all these things, repetition, payoffs, except I'll say something I think that makes it vibe a little different is to me, I think Shaun of the Dead is uh is very much this comedy movie that ends up taking this very serious turn, still funny along the way, but suddenly you got a lot more weight at the end of it. And that's the payoff. Whereas in Hot Fuzz, it begins with, Sergeant Angel and it goes from him being a super serious guy, everything by the book, to the payoff in the end is that, he can have fun with things and he's a lot more chill and funny. And then it turns into this light comedy at the end rather than this big serious thing. So I think they both are, they have kind of a polarized vibe, I guess you could say. But yeah, I think both of them end up being that same thing of this is perfect way of doing something. Yeah. I don't know. I think what's the name of Horace Slughorn? Do you remember that actor's name? I really think he would have made a great role in this movie in Shaun of the Dead. He does a great job in Hot Fuzz, and I think he would have done it again now.
Maybe they'll cast him for From Dusk Till Dawn.
hey, listen,
Oh,
listen. We get in Spaceballs too. We can get From Dusk Till Dawn. I'm just saying.
Was
It
that
could
a
happen.
joke? Was that a joke movie or was that like genuinely like something that they were thinking about making? Do
I
you guys
think it
know the
was probably
history of that?
talked about.
oh
I don't know
yeah.
the history, but I imagine that it was probably brought up like at some point.
Wasn't there word a
I
few
feel,
years ago about doing a fourth
yeah,
movie?
a
Yeah,
fourth movie.
for the
Yeah,
Cornetto trilogy.
Oh yeah,
getting in the
yeah, another one. I'm
Yeah.
surprised he hasn't done anything with
I
them in a while.
know. It's crazy. When's
But
World's End? Is that 13?
13 or
yeah,
14, yeah.
it's been a
Something
long
like
time.
that. Yeah, it's been a crazy amount of time. The three guys, Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, like, what are we doing, guys? Like, the amount of self-control it must take those three guys to not just group text each other every day, like, hey, let's make another movie. Because if I had that vibe going on with two people, not that we don't have that same thing going on right now, but like to that level, I every year would be a Cornetto movie to me. That's what I
Hmm.
would
Well,
spend my life doing.
Well,
they
it's like
they get to
Simon Pegg is. Well, go ahead, Jack.
oh, I
Sorry.
was gonna say they get together quite a bit in London for special screenings of those movies. Nick Frost, Simon Pegg, and Edgar Wright do.
That's
So,
fun.
like, that would be. I don't know. I just think it's funny that this is Nick Frost's like first movie, and he's like not even like classically a trained actor. They just kind of like he's like, here, this is my friend Nick Frost. Can he be the other guy in this movie? And they're
He's
like,
just
yeah.
he's
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
perfect for. He's literally perfect for that role and playing that character. I love when they're throwing the records at the zombies. That scene's so funny to me.
Yeah. I
He's like, that was a Blue Monday
It was a
original
Blue
present,
Monday.
the
and then
Batman soundtrack, blow
Track,
it.
throw it,
throw it.
throw it.
Yeah, that of all the scenes in the movie, I like a lot of them I could remember. It's been so long. I could remember that was one I was very excited to get to watch again. Just the visual of them throwing the records is always a good gag.
Yep,
Um,
seen him. fly around and shit. And then they're like, this isn't working. Like, no shit.
Yeah.
Like, they're so stupid. Like, I love like the way they escalate that. Like, they literally just grab a basket full of crap and they're just throwing like toasters and shit at them. It's
Yeah.
so funny.
We mentioned the physical gags as well. That's something, in all these movies is something kind of I think taken for granted as those throwaway things, Sergeant Angel jumping the fences as well as,
Yep.
Simon Pegg failing to get through the thing. When in this movie when, he says, F this, I'm going to the shed, and it cuts to the shed and he just bursts through
This is
the
funny.
entire wall.
He's like,
It's
wait, it's a
so
law.
it's so good.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Yeah. The physical gags are so funny. I love when Nick Frost tries to jump the fence in Hot Fuzz. He just
He
falls.
doesn't even make it through the fence. It's one of the funniest things.
It doesn't even look like he like try. It looks like he genuinely accidentally fell. He played it so well.
Yeah.
Like it's so funny.
Yeah.
Did they jump a fence in Hot Fuzz? I don't remember.
In Hot
Or
Fuzz,
sorry, not Hot Fuzz, The World's
World's
End.
I know that he jumps over some rails. I don't remember if he jumps a fence.
That joke is hilarious
that
too.
joke is so funny too because everyone just walks around.
Or
He's the
just
only one.
walks over.
Yeah. I
Oh,
uh,
oh man, I wish that movie had a better ending.
I really like the ending of that movie. It's not
It's
ex
it's fine, in my opinion.
it's not the perfectly the way that I would have wanted things to go. It's one of those things where you get from point A to B and then that B to C in the end is like this is a lot just happened here. So
Hmm.
I don't like the speed in which the ending kind of wraps itself up. But I gotta say I'm happy for Simon Pegg with where he ends up. It seems
Hmm.
like that's the
Yeah,
world he's meant to inherit.
yeah, like 98% of the movie's like terrific. It's just that I don't know. It's fine ending. It's not like Hot Fuzz or Shaun of the Dead where they nail it, but
Yeah. No, they definitely do not nail it at all. And that's one of the hard things about the third movie of the trilogy is it's not a nailing, if you will. I'll say
You
the
could say
opening, not it's say it.
I was gonna
Say
say
it.
about you could say that you went to the Zables and bumped into her again.
I
Yeah.
bumped into it again.
Listen,
Starts with a
I
bump.
don't want to get into World's End because I know we're gonna be having the next episode. It's gonna be all about Hot Fuzz. So eventually, of course, we're gonna do World's End. I do want to say while we got maybe a couple years here, still hanging on our every word. Uh, really good. I recommend World's End and that it's such a different movie compared to the other two. Like it's still funny and goofy and does the same, I would say the same bits, but it has the same tempo, different thing, but the same tempo. And you go on a journey with these characters and things escalate. But I just would really recommend it because this approach to a comedy movie in which Simon Pegg is this character who is very down and out. And, after the last two movies, he's not a guy who's completely down and out. Whereas in this third movie, I don't remember at all what the guy's name is. He's just so at the very bottom of his life. Whereas, like, God, what's the point? Like, this is a bum that we're following around. Anyway, so I like that. I like an unlikely, I don't even want to say an unlikely hero, but because, anyway, but I like an unlikely hero. Anyway, back to the Shaun at hand. That's right, the man who is needs no further introduction, Shaun of the Dead. Um, I don't know. Do you guys have anything else that was just like riveting got you? Hey, I have a question actually. Big question here. If you were gonna have to put together a team of like top five people you would take with you into a zombie apocalypse from zombie movies or zombie media, is Shaun in any way cracking that list? Is he gonna make it on there?
Well,
He did
let me run
survive.
down. Let me run it down because Bill is making it. Gotta have my boy Bill.
We got Left 4 Dead's Bill on
I got
Dude,
Brandy's
Bill,
list.
Bill
Bill.
died though.
Yeah, but
Bill
he
did
got you over that
die.
bridge.
That
Just
He
don't
did get
play
did.
me
the
on that bridge.
DLC. Just don't play the DLC and you don't know that.
If you ignore it, it never happened.
Yep.
Well,
Well,
that's Bill. I'm keeping track, man. We're on.
Bill, let's see. Okay, I've got Bill.
I think you got to have Sean.
Hey, Bill would be good. Who's the
Rick,
I'm trying to run
Rick
down my
Grimes.
Oh, Rick
I'm
Grimes
gonna
is
yeah,
going
let's
on
just say
there.
we got Rick or do you want who's his Who's
Schmeryl
the other guy?
Carl.
Schmixon.
Carl.
I'm
No,
Carl.
taking Rick over
it,
Daryl every day of the
no, not
week.
Daryl. Who's his
Jeffrey
friend?
Dean Morgan.
No, his friend in the first few seasons. I can't
Oh,
remember his
John
character name.
Berthal, Shane.
Yeah, Shane.
John,
You want
his character
Shane?
sucks though. You don't want him on your
What?
team.
You don't know
You
You don't.
little
Ray.
night.
We're lost.
We're lost. Would have my son call you daddy. Oh my God, Cole, that was really great. For those of you audio listeners, we're
lost.
currently doing our best John Bernthal in The Walking Dead. Yeah.
There's like a stupid meme that I see all the time where it's like getting lunch at work or whatever, asking pizza or whatever, ants. I mean, looking to see if Rick from HR is an anteater, and it's like John Bernthal from The Walking Dead. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
I gotta say, yeah. I agree with Rick though. I think my list right now is Bill, Rick,
It's gonna
John.
be. It could be anybody at all.
Let me
the
look up someone really quick.
what's her name? She's married to that director who did the Resident
Married to
Evils.
the Muffin Man. Married to
Um,
Mila Jovanovic.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing Mila Jovovich. By the way, the Resident Evil movies, horrible movies. I do not recommend those.
They look pretty bad. They don't look
They
like
are
something I'd
pretty
like.
bad. So I've got Bill, Rick. I think Shaun makes the list. I think you have to
Sean
have
makes the
Shaun.
list.
All right, Sean's going on the list. I
My
don't care if
friends
you
call
guys
me.
are running out of ideas. We got to have a full 5-teamer
Who's
list
you
here.
gotta have what's his name from 28 Days.
Oh yeah, what's his name?
I don't I can't remember the character's name,
I'm
but the
just gonna
actor.
write Peaky Blinder is what I'll put.
My
Oh,
friends call me Coach.
Peaky
Oh God,
Blinder.
Coach, I'm forgetting Coach. Coach is on the list.
Coach as
Coach is on
well.
the list. You have to have Coach.
All right. Well,
Honestly, you could just do a list of the Left 4 Dead characters, let's be honest.
Exactly.
the list is in, everybody. Top 5 people we would take here at Podcast and Motion Pictures, and maybe we'll check with the others next time we do a zombie movie. Bill from Left 4 Dead, Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead, Shaun from Shaun of the Dead, Peaky Blinder / Oppenheimer from 28 Days Later, and Coach from Left 4 Dead 2. It is astonishing that not one of us three are pulling this guy's stupid, stinking name. Christopher Nolan's best buddy in the world, his muse for so many years, nothing.
We call ourselves a movie podcast.
Yeah, what do we know? Oh my God, it starts with a
We know
C,
who.
I think.
We
Oh,
know who.
Cillian. It's his last name. No,
Cillian Murphy.
Cillian
Killian Murphy.
Murphy.
I was close
Yeah,
enough.
we got it.
I got us
They're
there.
the,
Killian Murphy.
Oh my God, we almost lost all credibility. We couldn't even get Barbenheimer's own Cillian Murphy. Yeah,
My
heck.
friends call me Coach.
best. I feel like Coach is like the best character, but you don't want to play as Coach every time.
I like
Why don't you?
playing. I like that our podcast on Shaun of the Dead it keeps going back to Left 4 Dead characters. I dig that a lot for us, actually. I like to play as Lewis nowadays in Left 4 Dead 1, and I like to play as Nick a lot in Left 4 Dead 2. I don't know why.
Nick's funny. He's got a lot of
Yeah,
good lines.
he
It's
does.
like he's like the biggest asshole if you like accidentally shoot him or something.
He is a jerk. Yeah, even worse
He's
than Francis. Yeah, guy's a meanie head. Do you guys think we're getting Left 4 Dead 3 before we get the next Edgar Wright Cornetto movie?
No,
I don't think so either.
No,
we're never gonna get Left 4 Dead 3 or Half-Life 3.
I don't know, dude. I gotta be honest. If he announced another Cornetto movie, I would be pretty excited. Like that would be a.
Yeah, I'd be pumped. They make me so happy, the movies,
Mm-hmm.
They really
They
do.
do. They do. They have like the great tone.
They got that charm.
They do. They've got a lot of yield charm. All right. Well, charm aside, I think we're at our time limit here. We better wrap this up because we got to get around to watching another movie because next week we're going to be talking about Hot Fuzz more directly, which I'm cool with because that's my go-to movie, actually. All right. Whereas these two fellas are Shaun of the Dead enthusiasts, I am a Hot Fuzz maniac. So So until next time, remember we're going to be doing a movie this summer here. It's called Minnesota Nice is our working title. Set to release sometime in November. We're going to get some things out there, a few more things out there. It's coming. It's going to be great. We all know the way. Um, Catch us, check us out, share us around. Tell your friends about us. Use us. All right. Oh my God, I'm surrounded by John Bernthal. All right, till next time. That was a whole episode of the Whole Other Podcast. It's over now. The podcast is done.